So we are live on Facebook. I lied. It took a split second, not 4 or 5 seconds. So, hi everybody. I just want to say thanks for joining us here this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Rebecca from CHEA of California. I'm General Manager, and I'm so excited to introduce you to some of our friends here from Grand Canyon University. CHEA, as many of you know, has a special working relationship with Grand Canyon University to help support homeschool families. And we love Grand Canyon University. I love many things about it. I love the fact that their goal is to make sure, and I think maybe this is my first and foremost thing that I love, and I'm going to let you introduce yourselves, is the fact that your goal is to see that your students, when they graduate, are just as strong spiritually, if not even stronger and more thriving in their relationship with God by the time they graduate. So, as a homeschool advocacy organization that promotes discipling, home-based discipleship, that's, I just saw this is a relationship, this is a marriage made in heaven, so to speak. So with that, though, I want to introduce you to Sheila and James and Grace, and I'm going to let you guys tell everybody what you do at Grand Canyon. They're at GCU, and then talk about some of our great things that we have coming up.
Sounds good. I'll get started. My name is Sheila Jones. I am the director of the homeschool division at GCU, and we just absolutely love these kids. They're really making a big impact and splash on campus, and they're coming to us all over, but especially from California. And we're trying to get ahead of it and get to know groups, and CHEA is just a kind of a match made in heaven for us, because they we have very like-minded communities. We just really adore these kids. We want to serve you guys, serve the families, serve the groups. We have a lot of wonderful and free opportunities to share. We have some wonderful processes that are very much like a homeschool group as far as GCU and the community that we have there. So we're just really thankful to be able to share some of this with you guys here today.
Thanks, Sheila. James.
Hi, yes, my name is James Jackson. I actually serve as the regional admissions manager for Grand Canyon University here in Southern California. So if you are being homeschooled anywhere south of Bakersfield, then you will definitely work with myself as well as another admissions counselor. And we're so excited to have this opportunity to share with you some of the things that we have going on and some of those offerings that we have. And look forward to working with you. And we absolutely not just want, but we need your students at GCU, simply because that's where they thrive and help bring our campus alive, from leadership roles all the way down just to the student level. So thank you for having me, and you'll hear from me shortly.
And Grace.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Rebecca, for having us today. My name is Grace Sherman. I am one of the homeschool specific admissions counselors here at GCU. I have loved getting to work with homeschool families over the last 4 years. And kind of to echo what both Sheila and James said, GCU loves homeschool families, so much so that we have specific counselors like myself dedicated to serving you guys. GCU definitely sees the value in our homeschool families and their students, and we want to make sure we serve you guys and help you guys to the best of our ability. Like James said, we really believe that GCU is the perfect fit for you guys. Not only do our students, just fit into our campus so well, but when we hear the president of our university talk about the types of students they want us to recruit, our homeschool students are checking off every box. They're the ones with great leadership skills. They have community service. They have really strong academics. They're involved. They're usually faith-based. You guys check off all the boxes. So again, we're really excited to be speaking with you guys today, and yeah, you'll hear from me soon too.
Oh, thanks, Grace. So, Sheila, let's talk about the scholarships, the CHEA and GCU scholarships. We have 3 to give away this year, right?
Yep.
3, and each scholarship is valued at $1,500, but it's really not $1,500, is it?
No, $1,500 each year. So yeah, it adds up over the 4 years. Mm-hmm. So 6,000, which is pretty.
Yeah, and which is wonderful is that so it's 50, you can count on that little bonus every year that you're enrolled at GCU and you're living on campus. So and there are a few criteria. We're going to be putting the application out there on Monday, but so we'll be putting that out there so you can learn more about that. But what's well, I think one of the things I wanted to tell everybody, Sheila, is that this is for CHEA members. So there's no length of time that you have to be a CHEA member, but we will be taking membership. Your length of membership is in CHEA as part of the selection process when we establish the our selection committee. So that's just something to consider. But if you're not a CHEA member yet and you want your student to go to Grand Canyon University next year, become a CHEA member, and then you can apply and have your students joining that wonderful student body there. Is there something else we should be telling them about the scholarship, Sheila? I feel like there's a little detail.
For GCU, we understand that oftentimes you as a homeschooler are sacrificing an income to homeschool. So it's important to us that we can get you as much money as possible. We have a ton of scholarship opportunities that are renewable, which is so wonderful. And it's also really important to us that we connect and have you be a CHEA member, because it helps build the community. It helps keep homeschooling free. All the information that you guys share on a weekly basis is just such a wonderful opportunity. And I don't know, if parents always realize, what a wealth of information and help you are. So it's important to us that you guys, grow and thrive just as much as we want to with these families. So.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for pointing that out. That membership does help us fulfill our mission to help support private Christian home educators and also to advocate on their behalf. So this is a great way for us to be partnering together with the families, with GCU and with CHEA. So, and you mentioned, Sheila, that there are lots of scholarship opportunities. So in addition to the CHEA GCU scholarship, and James, you have one specific one that you wanted to talk about today, and this was a new one for me.
Yeah, this was actually a new one for us as well. So, I mean, our scholarship program by far is probably one of the best that I've seen in my experience. I actually currently have 2 daughters who are also in college. So I certainly encourage you to check it out. What your student has earned because of their academic endeavor will provide a scholarship. Also, being a member of CHEA will provide a scholarship. The additional scholarship you can apply for through CHEA also adds to that. The one that I wanted to call attention to today actually provides you the opportunity as a group leader to nominate a student for a scholarship. So this is the first time that Grand Canyon University is actually taking this action and really connecting with the school counselor, admin, in this case, obviously a group leader, to really identify who would be a good not just fit for Grand Canyon University, because homeschool students are already a good fit for GCU. So you're going to have to make a choice on who you're going to want to nominate. And you can nominate as many people as you would like, as long as they're a graduating senior. And the way that you would do that is simply by filling out a quick little nomination form. It's gcu.edu/GCU select. And that will actually take you to the form that explains how the scholarship works. It is renewable each year. And only thing we don't know right now is exactly what the amount will be. But those will obviously be announced once we have all of the nominations in, and the deadline to have those nominations in is the day before Thanksgiving, coming up really quick, by the way, on November 25th. So if you have your nominations in by midnight, then they will certainly be considered for a GCU Select Award.
Okay. I'm writing that down. And, just so everybody knows, I am going to be putting all of these details in the comments below the video, so that if you didn't write fast enough, that's okay. And we have lots of good information. So that's going to we're going to go ahead and plug that in down there. And did I read, James, that last year, I think GCU gave over $600,000 in these select awards?
That is correct. And the way we were able to do that, and of course, nobody wishes a pandemic on anyone.
Yeah.
But obviously, we were in a position to actually receive some funding to offset some of the costs of the pandemic. And quite honestly, we just took those funds and provided them to the students.
Wow.
And they come in the form of these GCU Select Awards. So yes.
Oh, that is wonderful. And then that number is expected to grow. Correct?
Oh, it's going to grow tremendously,
Yeah.
double, if not more than that. So this is an opportunity, certainly to jump on that education train. We are on the train ourselves of keeping private Christian education affordable. And that has been our mantra since I've been at Grand Canyon University for almost 14 years. So glad that we have this opportunity for our families.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I loved about Grand Canyon University was the percentage of your students who graduated from your university without student loans.
Yes. The old standard of you have to take them on a mountain of debt and all this time to graduate from college. We stand firmly against that. We're a bit of a disruptor in the sense that 70%, if not more, of our students graduate in less than 4 years and with little to no debt. And that's something that we want to help you actually realize even before you start the college journey, to ensure that it is absolutely doable, especially when you have perhaps just one income coming into the home. So we want to work with you on that. And there's even more scholarship opportunities once you are a student on campus that can continue to offset the cost of education.
That's a treasure right there. As the parent of two adults who are still paying student loans, one has been more than 14 years in her career. It's one of those things. It's almost like they feel like they have to live with them. It's like a house payment. It's one of those inevitabilities, but it doesn't have to be. So thank you for sharing that, James. And so Grace, you have a really great program I want you to share with our viewers today. And this was super exciting to me. As homeschoolers love dual enrollment. So tell us about your dual enrollment courses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dual enrollment is a really awesome opportunity we have here for our homeschool students at GCU. Just to go off what James said, most of our students actually do graduate in less than 4 years, which does help you save money on tuition, which is a really awesome opportunity. So I am going to try and share my screen because I do have some info. That way everyone can get a visual here. Can everybody see this?
You're good.
Okay, great. Just so everyone kind of can read what I'm talking about, because this is a little bit of information. So we do have our dual enrollment program. Right now, we're primarily offering online classes, which is great. And one of the major benefits of dual enrollment is the cost. It is super affordable. It is a fraction of the cost of tuition, which is great. So our dual enrollment program costs $52.50 a credit. Which is all of our classes are worth 4 credits here at GCU for the most part, as opposed to most universities where they're only worth 3 credits. And then we do also provide an ebook with all of the classes, which is $105. Providing ebooks is something GCU started doing when I was still a student at GCU, and that was a while ago. It's one of our ways to make classes more affordable. Textbooks, and you homeschool families know this, buying curriculum is expensive, and buying textbooks is expensive, and then you try and sell them back and you get like, $10 for the book. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that here. It's $105. It is an ebook, which you can print out. I know some students prefer, to write over their textbooks. I was one of those people. So again, one of our ways to try and make this very affordable. Scroll down here. But yeah, all of our classes are worth 4 college credits. We do allow students to take up to 60 dual enrollment credits and transfer them to a GCU program, which comes out to 15 classes. Now, I have had a few students hit the 60 mark, which is they had it all mapped out and planned out, and that was a bit much in my opinion. It is doable, but please do not feel like you have to do 60 credits. If you want to go beyond the 60, which again, I have had some students do, we do accept dual enrollment from, local community colleges as well. But something I get asked all the time as an admissions counselor is, what classes do I take? You have all these opportunities available, which we have the link here to see everything that we offer, which we will share this link with you guys as well. But something we do as admissions counselors is we can actually give you guys kind of your own personalized, we call it a course walk or a program reference guide, and kind of break down, here's your dual enrollment plan, and here's how you graduate early in college. So I go with my students all the time and say, okay, you're studying psychology. Here's, the 15 classes available for you to take through dual enrollment. You don't have to do all of these, but here are your options. So you're never alone when it comes to this. And one of the great things for our homeschool students is you get 2 counselors that you get to work with. You'll be assigned a dual enrollment counselor that will help you sign up for your classes. And then you'll get assigned a homeschool admissions counselor like myself to help guide you through this process. If GCU is where you want to go to college, we will make sure you are set up for success and taking all the classes you need.
Oh, okay. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
If GCU is where you want to go to college, so students don't have to, so these courses are transferable to other institutions. They
Absolutely.
perhaps going to stay in California for college, they still want to take these classes.
Yeah, for sure. So for the most part, we offer general education classes through dual enrollment, and I don't believe we offer any classes above a 200 level. So for the most part, they are very transferable. But with that, I always encourage students, check with the universities that you're applying to see if these classes will transfer. I mean, for the most part, we are right on par with general education classes in terms of English and math and psychology and all the usual general education classes students take. But just the same, I always tell students, double check where you're going to make sure those classes will transfer.
Okay, wise words.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Because I can speak for GCU, but that's about it. So you always want to check with the other schools that you're applying to.
Okay, great. And you were talking about acceptance, I think.
Yes. Yeah, so acceptance for dual enrollment, I know this can seem like kind of a daunting process to get started, but it's actually a lot easier than most people think. There's really 2 things we need: an application, which our application is super simple. It's free, no essays. It takes like maybe 10 minutes to fill out, and it's really just, give us your name, address, phone number, and you want to do dual enrollment. Pretty easy. And once we have that on file, we'll get a copy of your high school transcripts. Now, in order to do dual enrollment, you do have to be at least a sophomore in high school. So we need a transcript on file showing at least your freshman year completed and that you're starting your sophomore year. For that, we need a minimum 3.25 GPA, which most of my homeschool families well exceed that, which is great. For juniors and seniors, we need a minimum 3.0 GPA on your transcripts, and that is a cumulative GPA. Another thing I always offer to my families is I like to proof transcripts before we officially submit them, because we get it a lot of these families. This is your first time, getting involved with college level coursework or anything. And usually families want some reassurance that they're on the right track with their transcripts. So I am always happy to proof those before we officially submit them into our system, because once they're in there forever. So that's something we offer as homeschool admissions counselors as well. But another great thing about the acceptance for our dual enrollment program is that if you meet the requirements for that, you actually meet the acceptance requirements for GCU as an undergrad program, which is great.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts you several steps ahead in that process as well, if you're looking to go to GCU for college. Yeah. So for our online classes, it's very flexible. We have start dates for sure every 2 weeks, but since the pandemic has hit, we have start dates almost every week now, which is great. we have two options in terms of how long the classes last. We have 7-week long classes and we have 15-week long classes. The majority of our online dual enrollment is 7 weeks long. With that, please keep in mind you are doing the same amount of content as a 15-week class, but it is condensed down into half the amount of time, which I know sounds a little daunting. However, we have found that our dual enrollment homeschool students are the ones that excel and do really well in these classes. They're getting really strong grades and doing really well. So I wouldn't be too scared of that number there. And we have started offering more 15-week options, which is a full semester's worth, because we have found there is a need for it. Those are not quite as common. We have started building more of those out, but we do need a minimum of 10 students to get one of those classes started. So you would just ask your dual enrollment counselor that you're assigned to, let's say you're interested in English 105, ask them if a 15-week option is available, and they'll be able to tell you and get you signed up for whichever option you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, groups, homeschool groups can set up their own cohorts of 10 or more of their own children who might want to take an English class. They can all take it together as a group. So that's an option too.
Oh, that's a great idea. We want to tell that to the leaders that are nominating their students for the Select Award.
Yeah. Be fun to take it with a friend and have everyone be able to kind of guide each other through a college level course. So
yeah, and usually the co-ops meet that minimum 10 number of students that we need, so it's pretty easy to get one of those started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, everybody's become quite accustomed to taking classes online.
That is the new normal right now. But like Sheila mentioned, doing it as a co-op, if that's something your group is interested in, is also a great opportunity. That way the students can kind of meet in person with whoever is leading their class and kind of discuss and kind of have the regular classroom setting with that as well.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah, and then they've got their built-in study groups too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, one other thing I do want to mention regarding our dual enrollment classes is if you're not signing up as a co-op and you're just signing up as an individual student that wants to start classes, we do only allow you to take one class initially, because for a lot of students, this is their first time with college level coursework, and we want to make sure you're successful with that. So as long as you get a 3.5 GPA in the class, you are allowed to double up the second time around, but we never let students take more than 2 dual enrollment classes at a time. Again, we want to make sure students are being successful because we really do care about our students here at GCU. But really, I know this is a lot of information, but I really want to boil this down into 2 main benefits of dual enrollment. It's, financially, it is a huge cost saver, helps you save money on tuition, helps you graduate early, like we mentioned before. And it is, again, a very discounted cost. And also for a lot of students, this is a great way to get your feet wet with college coursework. Kind of experience what it's like to be in a college level class, what college level writing is like. So I know I've had plenty of students that are like, I'm nervous about starting college. I know I've worked hard in high school, but what is college going to be like? This is a great way to kind of test the waters without jumping in all the way just yet. And also, like I mentioned before, we found that our homeschool students are the ones that excel in these classes. And I would say part of this is because of the work ethic that the parents have instilled in their kids. They're the ones, again, that are excelling, getting stuff turned in early and doing really well. And like I said before, I've had several students do the full 60 credits. They're ambitious.
Yeah. I have a couple things to kind of add from like a mama standpoint. I have had some kids take classes at the community college. And one of the things that's wonderful about taking them at GCU, if you're a faith-filled family, is it's nice to have the Christian worldview when these kids are in classes, adult classes. So say psychology or sociology, as a high schooler, that's can be some more adult content. So it's nice to be able to have the kind of padded Christian spirit wrapped around some of these classes for these kids. So that is one thing that our parents kind of have mentioned over and over to us is just, I'm glad they were able to take a class you know, that prayed together, or, you know, studied scripture or whatever, even if it wasn't you know, a Christian worldview class, they still have these elements built into each class. The other thing I always try to tell families is, you know, that you're building their college GPA. So, you know, these are a big deal. I did have one student from a Christian school take a bunch of dual, and he just kind of took them, and he had a wonderful high school GPA, and he had a 2.5 college GPA. So when you take these, you know, make sure that this is, you know, you don't have a whole lot of things going on, that it's not, you know, in the middle of a holiday or a trip, that these kids can really focus and just do, you know, put their head down and have that time to focus on it. Once they get one out of the way, they do, you know, they do wonderfully. But as a mom, I always give like the, you know, be careful about this kind of thing. So
And take it seriously. Just because it's inexpensive doesn't mean it's not real, right?
exactly. And certain majors, you know, it's wonderful that since we do have a homeschool counselor specific, you know, if you want to go into nursing, you're going to want to make sure that, you know, your counselor knows that, because there's certain classes you might not be able to take that you'll have to take on campus at whatever the university is. So, you know, it's nice to have someone walk you through those things, because the majority of the, you know, moms, or, you know, the mom counselors, you might not know these little details. So
Right.
we're always here to help.
Yeah, that and that's important. The parents need to know that they're not trying to create something. You know, they maybe don't have this body of knowledge yet, but there's somebody there who does, and they don't have to do a ton of research and recreate the wheel, so to speak. You're there to help them. So. Well, thank you, everybody, so much. I'm excited to tell all of our homeschoolers about the opportunities that GCU has available to them. And, you know, even if they're not CHEA members and they're not interested in a scholarship, I think everybody should be. But if you know, dual enrollment is there and a wonderful opportunity for all homeschool kids. I think you were going to tell us a little bit about your social media, Sheila. You have some Facebook groups, or you have a page and some groups, or?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, GCU Homeschool Admissions, and we just post things like scholarship opportunities, events and things that we have coming up, webinars. Pretty much everything is free. We have free trips to campus where we, for homeschool only, where we'll reimburse a parent and a child to travel to campus and check it out. So we have a lot of these wonderful opportunities. So we also have a dual enrollment Facebook page that I have the parents join after they sign up for dual. That way they can share, oh, I liked this class, or this one was hard, or what would you do next? So at GCU dual enrollment. We also have a Instagram, GCU, which one is that? Homeschool Elopes. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it's GCU Homeschool Admissions, I believe.
Okay, if you guys can put those in the chat, and I'll make sure that we get them into the comments too. So that would be great.
Yeah, it's just a fun little way to kind of get connected. A lot of our parents connect too, which is kind of nice. Then they form their own little homeschool groups where the GCU parents are all together and carpool or drop things off or visit their kids when they can't. So it's been a really phenomenal community. It's very much like the homeschool community already, kind of at GCU. So it's a real easy transition for a lot of our kids.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I think our homeschool families really have learned how to appreciate and create community. It's one of the beautiful things about homeschooling is that you are just doing life with one another. So it sounds like a nice extension of that. I have a friend who has a few, at least two GCU graduates. So that was one of the things. I know my kids have been grown and done with school many, many years ago, but I do have friends that, you know, I can say personally have recommended GCU, homeschool friends. So just a wonderful opportunity for your families. Now, do the Facebook groups include the students, or are they just for parents?
Whichever. I would say most parents are on Facebook more than the kids are. So I get mostly parents, and you guys can IM me, ask me questions. We're on there all day, on and off. We switch off. So we're happy to answer. I mean, it's kind of like sometimes parents like try to call me and can't reach me, but they'll IM me and they can always get me. So, I feel like it's just kind of a direct line for families just to, if you have a quick question or, whatever. We just really love to serve, and we're here to help. And the college process is a lot like, it's buying a house. You just don't know until you do it. And we're here, we're all specifically working just with homeschool because we get you guys and we love you guys. So we know what you're doing, we know how you're trying to save money, we know the CLEP, we know all the things that you guys are looking at. So we're happy to do as much as we can, as if these are our own children, helping our own kids.
Oh, thanks for doing that. And thanks for your availability. They don't have to call or email and make an appointment for 2 weeks down the line to get an answer on a quick question.
The other nice thing is our homeschool, all of our counselors, even regular school counselors, we do everything: scholarships, application, FAFSA. We help with kind of all of it. So you're not having to pick a number here and call this person. We do it all for you, which is just so much less painful for, you to kind of direct your children. And so there's a lot of just wonderful little add-ons that we do, very happily.
That's neat. So there's no maze to navigate. This
No.
just point person. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your afternoon and joining us and telling our friends about GCU and the wonderful things you have going on. And we're going to have to get back together again soon and highlight. I know you have other things going on for homeschool students, so we'll have to highlight some of those as well. So
yeah, and I'd like to say just really quickly, I work with associations and groups all around the nation. And California, I just want California folks to know that your CHEA group goes above and beyond what many of the other groups have done. They were the ones that reached out about setting up scholarships. And so they're the ones, putting in the extra effort. And, Rebecca's brain is always just turning on ways to serve the families of California. So I just feel like it's important for the California people to know, how much you really do advocate for them compared to a lot of the other states that we work with. So we're really lucky to have you.
oh, thank you, Sheila. You're making me blush.
It's true. It's true.
Very true.
Yes. So, well, CHEA is happy to serve. So, well, again, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you hang out here, I'm going to go ahead and end our broadcast and tell you, those of you that have joined us, that we're going to be putting all of these links in the comments below. And then don't worry, if the video gets buried in our Facebook feed, it's going to be transferred over to our YouTube channel very soon. And then also we'll have a link to this on Monday's Connection when we launch our scholarship application period. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we will be back again on another Did You Know?